Hello! I'm one quarter of Flash Buddies and I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to edit multi-perspective videos in Sony Vegas Pro 13. And that'll be using the multi-camera function of Vegas, so you don't have to do it all manual. Okay, so what I'm going to start with here is this is a template that I use. Now you don't need a template, and it doesn't matter that you have no idea, like it doesn't matter that you don't know what any of this is. It's just basically because I always use the same intro and same outro, so rather than putting them in every time I made a template. So these top tracks. That's just a black piece that fades everything out. That's the left text, or right text, I'm not sure. That's the other text, see these two. I normally do this on my second monitor to the left, but I can't because it interferes with shadow play. And also I'm going to try and make this whole thing one take, with the repetitive bit sped up. But if Vegas crashes, like it often does, I will have to cut because launching Vegas stops sound devices for some reason. I think it launches an ASIO sound driver or something, so it doesn't really matter, but basically if it crashes I will have to cut the thing. It won't matter. Then these two tracks are where I put the end card videos, so there'll be one here and one here. And then this is the outro music and the end card. And then over here we have, intro music, our logo. That's just where I store the sound that I use for the transitions. I'll show you that later. That's the sound for the thing coming in, and these are the camera switch indicators, which I'll show you. I'm just going to mute all that because it just gets in the way when you're trying to do stuff. Now the reason I've got this many tracks down here is because rather than putting them in every time and having to set the colors, because I like to have the waveform for our videos at the color of our, like what the color we prefer to be in games. So I'm blue, David's red, Alex is yellow, and Jesse's green. I'm Lachlan, by the way, aka Megaman, or Megaman 1574. So this is video, audio, video, audio, video, audio. 4 of each for the video and its corresponding audio, and then down the bottom we have 4 tracks for our audio, like our voices rather. Now, first thing you want to do is go to where you have. Now, I've actually edited this before, so this video will actually be out. The one I'm showing you how to edit will actually be out by the time this comes out. So I've put all the stuff I use for that in there, and I'm going to do it again. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to grab the proxies. Now, I've already processed these proxies. I made my own proxies because Vegas doesn't have a very good thing or version of doing it. And basically, proxy is a low quality version of a video, so it doesn't slow your computer down when you're trying to edit it. And I've already processed all the audio. If I get enough interest, I might make a video on how we record and how we process all the audio and stuff, but for now all you need to know is that that's already done. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to grab your proxies. I use proxies because my computer's just not fast enough. Before I do that, just remember this is a template, so you don't want to actually edit the template, you want to save it as something else. So I'm going to go into here, and call this Minecraft 2, because it's the only the second Minecraft thing we've done. We don't often do Minecraft. Okay, so you want to grab these, drag them into the project. The reason I have that open, that's just if I need to show you, that's actually where I've already edited it. I've already edited that, and I might need to show you something from it. And then you also want to grab, not that. It builds peaks now, and basically peaks are the waveforms that Vegas uses. They look like that, and it creates its own file for it, so it can be read quickly. Then you want to grab your audio. I'm not sure if I said earlier, but this is basically how I edit it. This probably isn't the fastest way to do it, so if you see something I'm doing wrong, please tell me because I'd like to know. So once you got all the stuff in, you want to put them into the project. So I go down to where I put my first video, which is this one. I put me first. You don't want to select use project thing because this is a low quality thing and you don't want to do that basically. Then I put David, aka Clonkex, Alex, aka SonicX, and Jess, aka Cubex. And as you can see, I'm just going to save. You want to save often because Vegas does crash, or at least for me. And as you can see, all these are our colors, so blue, red, yellow, and green. Now down on these last 4 ones, you want to put our audio. So I'm just going to move the scrub marker over there. It's being annoying. David. Where are you, Puss? Alex. And Jess. Now, what you need to do next is to line up all this stuff. So when we do recordings, we start our Audacity at the same time. So I go 3, 2, 1, we start our Audacity, and then we go 3, 2, 1 and start Bandicam. So they should all be basically lined up, but there is delay from voice chat. So what we do is we do this. 3, 2, 1,
Muck.
So you want to line them all up. So you want to shorten, where are you? Shorten that just to move it over. She must have started hers slightly early. So I'm going to line that up there. And I'm not going to line us, David and I, that's me there, that's David there, because we're in the same room. Our microphones bleed slightly together. So what I did is I clapped earlier. And a clap is the perfect way to line up audio, because it's sharp and simple. So now what you want to do is I put my scrub marker just below, just in front of all the marks. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just to kind of get the video so that basically approximately what's happening on screen lines up with what we're saying. So it doesn't need to be perfect. No, I don't want that yet. No, okay, what I want to do now to line these up, when we say mark, we all click options. So that something on screen happens so we can line it up to. So you mute them all so that you can start with the bottom track. So you unmute that. And as you can see here, because we're in a team game, like we're all in the same game, you can kind of see in the music and stuff lines up already. See, these are actually quite helpful because these are the ticks from the clock counting down. Because Build Battle has like a timer. So what you can do is you can actually just get them approximately right. See, like that. Now, we do actually do at the start of the video, we actually go 3, 2, 1 mark, but David thinks that his game locked up slightly, so we actually do it again about, where is it? If I can just find it. Is it the start of the round? Ah, there it is. As you can hear.
Alright.
Okay, just a quick point. When we get into the game, everyone press escape and do the 3, 2, 1 option to mark again, just in case, because mine locked up slightly.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yep,
3, 2, 1, mark. Right, see, that's where we do it. And David and I have been lined up with Thing, and the reason he's slightly out of time is because he's actually listening to me over voice chat and ignoring my actual voice. So I'm actually going to do this. I'm actually going to line it up with the time when we click options here, because this will be more accurate.
Slightly. Okay, ready?
Yep.
So now Jessie goes,
mark.
Well, she was meant to click it. I'm not sure what she actually did there.
Ye all with me.
There we go, okay.
Are ye all in the game with me?
I just realised,
Yeah.
sorry about that. Basically what that was is she was going to her second monitor to look up something. So this is,
in the game.
To the corner.
that was my weird Italian pirate. So okay, that's what we want to line up. That's what we want to line up, rather. So then you grab this, push it all over there. So that is basically there. That should go there, and it will go there eventually. So, as you can probably tell, this isn't a beginner tutorial. This is going to be how I edit specifically. I may have already said that. But if you have any questions whatsoever, please do ask them in the comments. I read every comment. So you just line every one of these up with where they click options, and they should be basically the same, because I already lined them up with. Then you line them all up with each other. Then grab them all, line them up with the audio. So now that's basically it. That should be all lined up right through the video. Push it all to the start. Then you can just kind of check when the timer's running out again. Yes, you can basically see all the waveforms almost line up, and there's slight delays because of the fact that it's over a network. So now they're all lined up. So what you want to do is you want to click this, just to get unselected. Unmute all the tracks, and now what we're going to do is we're going to make a multi-camera track. So you select the video and the audio, video and audio, video and audio. If you hold control, you can scroll up and down, and video, audio. So you have all 4 video tracks and all 4 audio tracks. You want to go multi-camera, create multi-camera track. That just tells you anything you've added to the track will be lost, like effects and stuff. So you want to click yes. Now you want to switch on multi-camera editing, and you do want to make sure that edit multi-camera audio with video is selected, because otherwise when you change perspective, when you click one of these, it won't change the audio. So now what happens here is we have the 4 perspectives you can see here, and now something very helpful we can do because Build Battle is a timed thing, like we're all on the same thing, so the timer should run out all at the same time. and you can kind of see here. Yeah, see? I'm not sure if you can see that, but it says 1 second remaining on all of them. So that means they're properly lined up. Now, with a multi-camera track, basically what happens is you can see all 4 perspectives in one go. They are all actually hidden in here. And when you click on these, it creates a jump cut. You can control click. Yes, control click, yes, to do a crossfade, but that's not what you want, because you want to be able to add your own transition later. Assuming you're trying to do an edit like I do. So, 4 perspectives, simple transition between the indicators. Now, what you want to do next is, now that these are all lined up, so that should all be properly lined up. Let me just check, because we should start screaming at the end of the round, because we're running out of time.
No, you already said David.
Yeah, Clonky Dave.
Clonky Dave. Clonks anymore.
Hey, Clonky! Did you know everyone in online voice chat calls him Clonex?
What? Clonex?
Yep.
How?
Hey, Clonex.
But no one is able to...
Oh. Okay. Let's see what I've done here. Basically, I was trying to figure out, I'm thinking, okay, what's happened here? That's not quite lining up. The thing is, what I've done is I've lined the video up to the options mark we do in the game, and I've lined the audio up to the first one. So what I want to do is I'm going to find over here, where we go like this.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. There. So that's the one it should be lined up to. Sorry about that. That was a little bit confusing, both for me and for you. So you want to... There, that should line up now. If we go over here and check, we should be able to scream out the round ending.
I love it. It's just
Yeah, don't touch
off.
anything. Excellent. I really like ours. This is
So
good.
do I.
Yes. You may notice that David's voice is slightly echoey sounding. It's because, due to the fact that we're using USB microphones, I think it is, they do get slightly out of time over time. So I do actually have to kind of line them up manually every now and then, even though they're perfectly lined up at the start. Now, what you want to do next is, once you've lined it all up, you don't want to start doing the multi-camera editing just yet, so I'm just going to turn that back off. We did actually have to cut a bit out where we changed game mode, and it was taking too long, so let me just find that. So it's between here. I think that's when someone gets registered.
Oh.
Whoops, that was a bit loud. Yeah, okay, so we say, like, where are we? Ooh, that was a bit creepy. That's a loop thing. I'm not quite sure how to turn that off, so I just right click and hit select, set to project. Team one.
Okay,
Yep,
I love
that'll
doing team.
Extend the time long enough. Yep, okay, so then that's when we finish. So we want to grab all of these, including the multi-camera. I'm going to click split or press S. Then we find when we come back. We're back.
Right. Yeah.
Which is just there. And split it again. Grab all of this. Delete it. Grab these. Push them back over. Now I'll put a transition there later and I'll show you what to do. So basically you want to do that first, otherwise you may end up doing camera switching for stuff that you're not actually going to use in the end. So now you want to go to the start. Now your intro will be different because that's just how it works. So I'm just going to unmute these. So what we do with our intro is we say something at the start. For instance, let me find where it is. Whoops. I'm going to actually leave that muted.
What's the theme?
Okay.
The tractor.
Oh, I just missed it.
But what I need to do is, because I selected the thing at the start, the name be Metal Beer. Yeah, there we go. That's the start. That's another reason. Another problem with, because I lined it up to the mid-game or mark, I had lost some of the video was pushed to the start. Let me just undo that. What have I done here? Yeah, okay. Forgot to grab all these bits. And I'm just going to go over here. Now the reason this happens is because some people's perspectives run out and it kind of breaks up the multi-camera tracks. So I'm going to grab all these, and just in case you want to go group, remove from, because sometimes it deletes stuff in the other thing, then you just delete that, because that's not necessary. Grab all of these. Oops, not that. If it does that, I think you've accidentally copied it, so you want to undo that. Now you want to go, just shove them all over there, extend this back out till we find where I start, which is there. Now, hopefully I'm not confusing you too much with all this, because you know basically what I've been trying to accomplish here. The thing I'm trying to teach you here is how to do the actual multi-camera part. So now I'm just going to grab them all, push them over here.
With me, yes.
Yeah.
We are
in. That's not actually far enough.
The name be Metalbeard, and I'll tell ye me tale.
So pull them all back over. Don't do that. Grab them all. Push them all to the start. Right, now I have it correct.
I thought you were going to...
So, at the start I say something.
The name be Metalbeard, and I'll tell ye me tale of woe.
Whoa.
Then the intro rolls. So what I do is here, and there's not that much gap between what we say. So I cut that there. That goes at the start. Then I push. I probably should have done this before I cut the track up, but anyway. So push all that over there. Now we want this to be before. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this terribly because this isn't really that important. It's just how I do this. That's a group. So you want to select. You can select everything and then go group, create new if you have a group of them, which means it'll all drag at once. Very useful. Just push that over there. Then find where we start talking again.
Welcome.
Yes, there. So shorten them all. It's a bit difficult because I'm not used to having this small a thing because preview this editing window because the preview window is bigger. I normally use my external monitor, but I can't. Moment. Okay. Oop. It's very annoying when stuff gets unselected. Push all that to there. Then actually delete that. Push this over there to line it up, which looks like this.
The name be Metalbeard, and I'll tell ye me tale of woe.
Whoa.
Welcome, we be Flash Buddies.
Hello.
Hello.
Ye felt
So that's basically how it is on the actual thing. You can see the video, and I'll put the video just up here. There it is. Okay, now let's grab all this because apparently I forgot to grab it before. Sorry. Oop. Push it all over. And then I'll just... No, I won't do that yet. Okay, so what you want to do now is you want to do the multi-camera editing. So what you do is you go multi-camera, never multi-camera editing. I just click on this, set it to the start of the video.
tell ye me tale of woe.
Whoa.
Welcome, we be Flash Buddies.
Hello.
Hello.
Ye filthy landlubbers. And we be playing Build.
The wrong set.
And
Horrible,
then
horrible pirate
You be
you
voice.
watch this and
Yes, we are me.
you watch this and you look at what you basically you find which is the most interesting perspective to be watching, and then or anyhow you want to pick who's being watched at the time, then you just click on one of these and it does a jump cut, and it, as you can see, if you look here, take A, that's Alex there, and it should also do the same thing to here.
By the way,
So
I
you
not be
play
David,
along.
I be Lachlan.
No, I'm,
So
Okay, ready?
keep
Yep.
playing
3,
until
2,
you want
1,
mark.
until you want to switch
we're good.
to like this.
Okay.
We show you all the
Theme,
behind the
What's the
scenes.
theme?
Okay,
The
and
track.
it does a
Oh,
switch.
I'll quickly do.
Tractor.
So these are what you want jump cuts because you can add transitions later. If you later decide that you've actually done it wrong and you want to do it differently, you don't have to use this. You can simply split the video yourself, change take, for instance D, but you also make sure you change this separately because it doesn't do it itself. Okay, so I'm going to speed this up now and just add all the switches, and I'll be back. Right, okay, now once you've done the transitions, so once you've set up the cuts rather, so once you've decided on who you want, whose perspective you want, so you've got all these jump cuts basically. And I can just show you here, this is what it looks like if you expand a multi-camera track. So if you expand this and you want to hit yes, keep this muted. So basically that's what multi-camera editing does. It does what would take you hours to do if you want to do it manually. Trying to watch each perspective separately, trying to figure out whose perspective was most interesting, and then trying to like map out who's who and then cut them all into place. So basically that does that. You want to Control Z to undo that. Don't recombine it. You can just Control Z to undo it. Okay, so now what you want to do next is you want to add the transitions. So I'm just going to go over to here. These are third-party transitions, so you may not have these, but it doesn't matter. You can use any transition. Now, the one we use is the swish pan one. So you can use whatever transition you want here. So what you want to do is you want to grab it, put it onto that between each cut. So zoom in, drag, place. Make sure it shows that. And just want to quickly show you here. If you go into preferences, editing, you can choose how much it overlaps when you put something over it. So what I've done here is I've got 0.0240 seconds, that is, and that makes it a very, very quick transition because with a swish pan you want it to go very fast. Okay, so I'm going to speed it up and just add all these transitions. Now for the center bit, because this is a blur fade, not a swish pan, it looks odd if it goes really quickly. So what you want to do here is you want to go to preferences, editing, and for this one I set it to 1 second, and then I just use this blur dissolve. There you go. And of course, as I said, you can use any transition you want. I think that's actually done it wrong. Let me just, whoops. So undo ASO. What's happened here is this has been overlapped. So you just want to, there. So basically, that was when I've been moving stuff around. I've kind of overlapped them a bit. So you want to just fix that slightly. Then it will put on correctly. See, nice and wide. There we go. That's fixed. Right. So that's a nice wide thing. It doesn't actually matter that these are no longer lined up or even crossfading because there's actually no sound there. So then you just quickly go back. If you've got a lot of these, a lot of blur fades, do them all at once because otherwise you're going to do this. I'm pretty sure there's probably some other way of doing this, but that's just how I do. I just change the default edition thing. Now go back to the swish pan and keep going. Right, so now that's done. Something I didn't mention before is when you're doing the changes, doing the multi-camera switching, so selecting each perspective, save after each one because multi-camera makes Vegas even more unstable, at least for me. So now once you've done that, what you want to do is you want to add the transistor player indicators. Now what this is, this is something I came up with. I'm not sure if I've probably been done before. This is a multi-camera track. So what I've done is, if I'll just expand this. Oh, no, not that, sorry. And I've just stuffed everything up. That's not what I want to do. This is what I want to do. Expand multiple tracks. Keep. Yeah. Okay. So what I did is I made 4 tracks. Then I put each of our heads, which are, so you could use whatever you want to use as your indicator. I put each one of them on a track, one above the other. Then I think, let me just think about it for a second. What did I do? And then what it lets me do now is I can just go take ClonkX, take CubeX. Just with a simple right click I can change what this thing does, and if you can look up the top right, the transition affects the multi-camera track and just flips between them. So if you have any more questions about that, because I'm pretty sure I didn't explain it terribly well, just say so in the comments and I'll try and explain it a bit better. So once you have that, I recommend that you use this. It's a very, very useful method. You want to grab it, just push it over here because you don't want anything you don't want it sitting at the start. It's pointless there. You want to also leave it muted, this track muted, because if you have multi-camera editing on and don't have it muted, it does that in here. See, it gets in your way. So what you want to do here is you want to for every time there's one of these, and the reason I made every time there's a switch rather, the reason I made the same length overlap as this is because this lets it over. See, look, it lines up there perfectly, and it means that when this swishes past, this looks like it's being rolled. So what you want to do is, so this is me, so you want to know who's who. So me, David, Alex, Jess, or Megaman, Clonkex, Sonic X, Cubex. So this is me. Then I go over here. You want to click, because if you simply right click, you can change the take, but it doesn't. The scrub marker doesn't move, so you won't know whose perspective it is. So you click here, or on the thing, and see this is now David's perspective. This take is for David. So what I want to do is I want to switch to his indicator, which shows that here is my video, and my indicator pops up, spins over to his, and it's now his video. And before you do that, you actually want to copy it. So grab both parts of it, copy it, and make sure you have this selected, because whichever track you select is where it pastes. Drop it in, line it up, check who it is. So Clonkex is on this side, and I move over here, and it switched to Sonic X or Alex. So select her. Then you go next one, and because you know that it's just been Alex, you can immediately select her, find who it is. It's now up to David again, so you select David. These change, the cuts also won't be on the final, how they are on the final episode. This is actually how they are on the final episode, with the peaks not built because I moved stuff around. That's irrelevant. So that's how it looks. These cuts I just made randomly as a demonstration. So I'm just going to speed this up now. Let's see. Just before I do that, speed. That was David, and this is Sonic X or Alex. Save frequently. So I'm just going to speed this up now, add these all in, and we'll go to the next part. That's the blur fade, so I'm not actually putting a transition indicator there, because it's me here, me after it as well. Right, okay, now once you've added those, what you need to do next is to add the sound, if you want to have a sound for the transition, which I do. And as you can probably tell at this point, the more switches you create, the longer it's going to take you to edit. But unless there's something I'm missing that could speed this up a lot, basically an edit's going to take you at least an hour for something multicam, probably about 2 hours. And if you're new, don't be surprised if it takes 3 or 4 hours. It took me a long time when I started. So what you're going to do is, for me, the template has that file there, so I just Control X to cut it. But you can just have it added to the project media as well. That's basically the same. Ooh, I'm just going to undo that. I just grabbed and slid stuff. These actually seem to be a group for some reason. I'm not quite sure why, but that's a bit relevant. So basically, if you click on something and stuff lights up light blue, that means it's part of a group, and as you can see, it slides with it. Now, what you want to do is grab this, insert audio track above where the voice is, so just below here, because what I do, I keep saying what you want to do, but it might not be what you want to do. Basically, what I do is I Control V with this track selected, and then when a cut happens, Vegas automatically fades the audio out, fades the new audio in. So what I do is I found the perfect spot for this sound, which is a sound, is with this bit just below here. So I just click on it, zoom in, paste, slide, zoom out, click on it, zoom in, paste, slide. Okay, I'm going to speed this up and just add these in. Right, okay, so once you've added those, so that's basically finished. So what you want to do now is you want to check the indicators. So because I end up adding these fairly quickly, sometimes you make mistakes with it. So the quickest, easiest thing to do is have multi-camera editing on, then just click on this side, so you can see that that's me here. So click here, David, both of them are David. Sonic X, yep, David, Clonkex, Sonic X, Clonkex, and basically what I'm doing is I'm glancing up to the top, seeing which one is running, so which perspective it is, and making sure both the indicators are right. Okay, so once you've done that, you can turn off the multi-camera editing. I'm pretty sure you can do that at this point. And you can unmute that track, because without multi-camera editing, they go where they are supposed to, so up there in the corner. So that's basically it. So I'm just going to quickly show you what I do for the intro. And I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. That's why I kind of just glossed over what I did with the start thing, but it's kind of irrelevant because this is what I do for our videos, so it's going to be different for what you do. So you want to select this. I select this, cut it here, click it here, cut it there with S. So cut on either side of this, and in the middle I just add a lens blur. You can probably find a different one if you want, and then I just have a preset called Flash Buddies. Then I just grab this, pull it over 10, I'm not really sure what those are, 10 frames maybe. So when you play it, it won't run smoothly.
Welcome.
But basically, you can see in the edited video that goes blurred behind that when that comes in. Now the only thing left to do is you grab this, which should be a group, and it probably isn't. No, okay. For some reason, this part keeps removing itself from the group, so just grab it all. And then I just push this over here, so that when the music comes in and the end card comes in, this finishes. And you just want to line up. So you want to find where your video ends. So you've got to decide on how you want your video to end. And I'll just make sure that's it.
What's the plank?
Yeah. So you have to find that for your own video. Push that there. Then grab this again. Should have done that. Oh. Turns out I didn't grab these well enough before. So push them over there. And this. Line it up there. Okay, now this is where the end card videos go, so I'm just going to grab them, which I've already put here. These are some of our old videos. Project Media, put them in there. Put one there. Put the other there, although they're actually not lined up properly. Hang on. You can just immediately delete the audio tracks because you don't want audio. And so you haven't actually quite lined this up properly, so just grab it all. Push it over to line up with the end card. Just find a random part in the video. You actually want to find something interesting, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to grab any part of it. So you want to find interesting part of the video, then cut it short so it fits in there. And then when you play it back, which probably won't run smooth.
Plank.
If you're tired of it not being jolty, you can actually lower the quality in here. So, for instance, preview half. So now we have the videos playing in there. And then the last thing with this is to go in here and just change what the text is. So in this case, which one is this? Okay, that's the right side one, is Minecraft Pixel Painters. I'm just going to do this. Right, it's Russian Cactus. That's good enough. And this one is Star Wall Ready to Pierce. And I normally format it better than that, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to do that quickly. So if you look here, now it has text. And basically what this is, these have a camera track, a track motion, which just sets them there, see? So you can do that yourself, or you can line them up every time. And the end card is I just made it myself, and looks like that. So that I just have grey squares to indicate where the videos go, and my template automatically lines these videos up on there. So I just drop them in. It makes things a lot quicker, but you can also, of course, do this manually. And then all you need to do at this point is watch the entire video back, because if you're new at editing, you really should do this to make sure you haven't got anything wrong. What I do is I feel confident enough now that what I do is I actually grab this and hold it
Name be
to...
Metalbeard, and I'll tell you me tale of woe. Whoa. Welcome.
Hold it to 1.52 rate, and apart from being highly amusing... Hang on.
Foot tractor. Google tractor. We're so lame, we have to Google everything.
It basically speeds up the process of actually watching it back. But I strongly suggest that if you're new to this, you watch it back at normal speed and make sure everything's correct. Make sure there's no odd sounds in the background, all the transitions are right, all the indicators are right. And then you just go like this. So it lets you in the project. I don't know if you have to do that, but I do. And I just make sure it fits to that side. And that's basically it. Okay, so what I forgot to say earlier is that because you're working with proxies, you want to finish editing it fully, because if you use full res when you try and edit, it'll slow everything down. But when you finish, you want to go like here, replace, so you get the proxy in the thing, replace, then pick your high res, and you do that for all of them. I'm not going to do that because it'll then rebuild the peaks for the new ones, it'll take a while. Okay, so that's basically it. That'll be your edited video. So if you like this video, please give it a like, because that'll be very helpful, or share if you like. Check out our other videos. I'll put a couple of videos on the end card that I think represent what our channel is about. And I've been Lachlan, aka Megaman, and that's it. Bye.